right? I mean, let's think about what happened to Home Depot. Let's think about what happened to Enron. Let's think about what happened to a lot of these big conglomerates where you had these CEOs earning these amazing salaries. The companies tanked. They did mergers and acquisitions. And when things started to go bad, they sailed on out with these golden parachutes.
That's right.
That should not be allowed. They should be held accountable, responsible, and they should have to return these big fat bonuses that they got when they signed on.
That's right. It should be pay to performance, you know. And I believe some of the companies are now starting where you will not get your bonus at the end of the year looking at your performance. They want to see your performance for 3 years.
Absolutely.
Before they pay you for the first year. I mean, that's a very good way of doing it, but at the same time, 475 times. Compare that to Britain, 22 times. I really think there's something wrong in our compensation system.
There is, and I also think the shareholders also have some responsibility. You know, we own stock in these companies.
Yes.
How often do we voice up and say, no, you will not pay the CEO $300 million this year?
See, these CEOs are the ones that actually attend those political fundraisers, and they're the ones, and they're making sure that management has all the power, not the shareholders. Are there laws on the book? Yes, for shareholders, but they're not as strong as for the management. So there you go.
The American public has sat for far too long on the sidelines watching this happen without participating in the process.
That's right.
And they now need to actually get up off their seats, pay more attention, read data. There's myriads amounts of data out there, and then actually participate in the process. And of course, they have the vote, probably the most powerful tool there is. They just need to pay attention to the candidates and what policies they're promoting. Folks, two stories that really just spell out the sign of our times, both from the Post. The first one is about Burger King. Did you know Burger King is losing its mascot?
I'm so glad. It was such a terrible mascot.
It was silly. But, you know, we first saw this with McDonald. You know, you didn't see Ronald McDonald very much anymore because it just wasn't that popular anymore. McDonald's was trying to brand to the adults. Mm-hmm. Well, the new owner of Burger King, who is Brazilian, his name is Jorge Paulo Lemann, the founder of 3G. He actually purchased Burger King back in August for $24 a share. Well, Burger King is an American icon. It's a fast food chain that's been around for 50 years, and Burger King, the king, has been the mascot for 50 years, and now that it's owned by Brazil, of course, they can make any kind of change they want, and the first change they did was to get rid of the king. I found it kind of sad, because these were the things I grew up with, and now, because they're owned by foreign entities, they're owned by a Brazilian businessman who did a similar thing. He took over Anheuser-Busch and Budweiser a couple of years ago.
Yes.
So, you know, what you're finding is these iconic American brands literally being sold off to foreign entities, and you just don't know what changes can occur when that happens. So this was a little bit sad for me. But then again, there's some good news. And the good news is, if you're a woman, this year, for the first time, IBM has chosen a female CEO.
Yes.
Her name is Virginia Rometty. She's 54, and she'll be replacing a man that occupied that position named Sam Palmisano. Now, IBM is one of those
iconic companies.
It is probably the iconic company. When you think about American business and where it's gone, you think of a few handful of names, IBM is up there. And it's one of those companies that has survived economic downturns and upswings. It has reinvented itself, and it has become a global entity.
That's right.
And for IBM to name a female executive in this position is a huge deal. She comes in with a lot of fanfare. You know, this is a trend now. Of course, you have also heard Meg Whitman was named the CEO of Hewlett-Packard. Before her, there was Carly Fiorina. So you're seeing women enter the space, but IBM was still up there as iconic as it was, and finally we see a woman in that role. I'm very excited.
You know, IBM is one of those companies that don't change their CEOs very often. She is the 8th CEO of IBM in its entire history.
I think it's a sign of good things to come. I think women have proven themselves as leaders, and I look forward to seeing what she does with the company in the next couple years.
That's right. Folks, Thanksgiving is just around the corner. It's not that far. And many of you who are vegans or vegetarians, you don't certainly eat turkey, but you feel like you should have turkey on the plate. So there is something called Tofurkey, which is made of tofu. That's the turkey that gets on some of the vegan tables. That is because
it shaped like a turkey too?
That's right. In fact, Wired magazine shows you how they take soy. You know, soy is the one that makes tofu.
Right.
But then tofu has no personal taste.
It has no personality.
Tofu has no personality, no taste to itself, so you're going to have to induce taste. And that's what the Wired magazine is showing, that they induce flavors of turkey in there. I'm okay with eating turkey, but I want to tell you, those who don't, this is a good way of getting there. But if you knew the process of making it, I don't know how many of you will be able to stomach that, you know.
Well, you know, what all you care about is the end product. And if the end product tastes good, then, you know, maybe you don't care how it was made. Soy is one of those amazing things. It's like the peanut. You know, the peanut can make so many different products. Soy makes so many different products. And there are health benefits to eating soy and tofu. So I think it's a good option for people who are trying to participate in the holiday process and really end up just eating the side trimmings and never can enjoy the meat.
That's true.
Folks, the holidays are coming and you'll be spending a lot of time in the grocery store. Did you know the next time you go shopping, you could be monitored in a very large control room where people are exactly observing your behavior in the grocery store?
Whoa.
They're even timing you. Things like, take a careful look at this lady, says this article. She's about to enter our latest speed bump area. It's designed to have her spend 45 seconds longer in this section, which can increase her average spend by as much as 73%. They call it the zone of seduction in the supermarket aisle.
Wow.
Folks, this is for real. You know, a lot of these marketing efforts, especially within grocery stores, are designed to make shoppers into hoarders. And in fact, that's what the article talks about. Zones of seduction, how supermarkets turn shoppers into hoarders. How do they do this? Well, a couple of tricky things. Next time you're in a grocery store, pay attention. I found this fascinating. Did you know that when you see signs like limit maximum cans to 3 per customer, what do? You grab 3 cans because you think the world's going to end. There'll be no more cans left. I better take my 3 while I can. And it works, folks. They've proven it. They've proven that people who had no intention to buy the can of whatever it was at all will buy 3 if the sign says maximum of 3 per customer.
That's right.
Something else that they will do. Did you know that if you put a dollar sign in front of the price of something, it decreases the shopper's likelihood of making the purchase? But if you take away the dollar sign, people will buy the product. The dollar sign is a symbol of cost rather than gain. When you see that dollar sign, you equate that to bills leaving your pocket. Whereas if you just remove the sign, it helps the consumer sidestep the harsh reality of outstanding bills that arrive in the mail later. I mean, it's all psychological. And yet
fascinates me.
It's so true. And, you know, we think it's innocent because you're not spending